Why is it that some couples seem almost untouchable to weather any storm together, while others unravel over the smallest misunderstandings? It often looks like magic, but it isn't. What I'm about to share is the hidden psychology that separates relationships that thrive from those that barely survive. And here's the surprising truth. This isn't just theory. These insights come from decades of research, observing thousands of couples. What we've discovered is that three specific psychological patterns determine whether a relationship flourishes or fractures. The first two are essential for understanding the third, because the final one doesn't just shift how you navigate love, it redefines what love truly is. The illusion of effortless love. Think about the last couple you saw who made it look easy. Maybe it was the way they handled conflict gracefully or supported each other under pressure. Their dynamic felt different, like they were playing by a set of rules most people don't even know exist. Here's the catch. That difference isn't what you think it is. Compatibility, communication tricks, even the idea of soulmates, all of that is a distraction. Thriving couples aren't lucky. They've discovered something that turns conventional wisdom about relationships upside down. Once you see it, you'll never think about love the same way again. But before we get to what makes them thrive, you need to understand why most couples fail. And paradoxically, that failure pattern holds the key to everything. Pattern number 1. Recognizing invisible wounds. Every person brings hidden wounds from the past into their relationships. As children, we all develop survival strategies, ways of coping when we didn't feel safe, seen, or valued. Those strategies may have protected us then, but in adulthood, they often sabotage the very closeness we crave. Thriving couples aren't immune to these patterns. They still get triggered, feel insecure, or fear rejection. The difference is, they don't fight their wounds, and they don't let them run the show. They've learned to recognize them in real time and to work with them rather than against them. Imagine two people who both feel chronically unheard. In most relationships, this spirals into a battle, both partners talking over each other, each desperate to be validated, while resentment quietly builds. But couples who thrive take a radically different approach, which leads us to the second pattern. Pattern 2. Creating space for each other's wounds. Instead of battling for airtime, thriving couples understand that when someone is fighting to be heard, it's not about winning an argument, it's about healing an old wound. They see that behavior as a signal. This person learned, long ago, that their voice didn't matter. So rather than pushing back, they create space. They allow that wounded part of their partner to finally feel acknowledged. This is where most relationship advice falls flat. Techniques and communication strategies miss the deeper truth. Beneath every frustrating behavior is an unmet need trying to be healed. Think about your own patterns. What do you do when you feel threatened? Withdraw? Criticize? Control? These strategies feel protective, but they actually block connection. What thriving couples do differently is cultivate emotional awareness. They notice the surge of defensiveness or the urge to shut down, but instead of reacting, they pause. They treat that reaction as information, not absolute truth. And yet, even this level of awareness isn't enough. There's a deeper shift that completely transforms how love operates. Patterns 3. Turning triggers into intimacy. Here's the breakthrough. Thriving couples understand that love isn't about finding someone who never triggers you. It's about creating a relationship where those inevitable triggers become opportunities for intimacy, not rupture. They do this by building something psychologists call psychological safety, a space where both partners can be vulnerable without fear of attack, shame, or abandonment. And here's what's surprising. They don't create this safety by avoiding conflict. They create it by embracing it. Imagine this. One partner comes home stressed, snaps about something trivial. In most relationships, this sparks a fight or silence. But in a thriving relationship, the other partner recognizes, this isn't really about me. They might respond, it sounds like today was rough. Do you want to talk about it? Or would you rather have some space first? That one response transforms the dynamic. Why? Because it creates what I call emotional spaciousness. Both partners are allowed to have their feelings without those feelings becoming weapons or emergencies. Over time, this shifts the entire foundation of the relationship. Triggers stop being threats. They become doorways to understanding, to compassion, to deeper love. When couples reach this level, something profound happens. Love stops being about managing flaws or fixing each other. Instead, wounds, fears, and imperfections become the very material that deepens intimacy. Criticism reveals insecurity, not rejection. Withdrawal signals overwhelm, not abandonment. Once you see your partner's defenses as evidence of their humanity, not an attack on yours, everything changes. And far from making you passive, this foundation of safety allows you to have more honest conversations, not fewer. You can address real issues before they explode. You can talk about needs, fears, and boundaries without destroying the bond. The beauty of this hidden psychology is that it's completely learnable. You don't need the perfect partner or a fairy tale soulmate. You can start now, by noticing your own patterns, creating space for your partner's humanity, and building safety instead of fear. Because the couples who thrive aren't special or lucky. They've simply learned to love through each other's humanity, instead of trying to love around it. They've discovered that the very things we think make us unlovable, our wounds, our triggers, our imperfections, are actually the raw material for the deepest kind of love, when approached with wisdom and compassion. This is why some relationships flourish while others collapse. It's not about avoiding problems or finding the perfect fit. It's about creating a space where both people can show up authentically, meet each other's humanity with grace, and transform every challenge into a chance to grow closer rather than further apart.